expected points, clean sheet odds, and who is the best captain. This video has got all of the information you need to know ahead of game week 36. It's been a little while since I made one of these ultimate guide videos. For various reasons, I've either been busy on a Sunday, game weeks have come so thick and fast, or I just haven't been able to get around to making them. So it's quite nice to go through the expected points data and a bit of clean sheet odds and stuff to help you for the next game week. If you're kind of new to this video series, what I do is I go through the Fantasy Football Hub expected points. I look for each position just at the game week in isolation. So the stats you're seeing here is for goalkeepers for game week 36 in isolation. And then I take a view of usually the next 5 game weeks. But because we're talking about game week 36, there's 3 game weeks left to go. So basically, I'm doing a view of goalkeepers for expected points and other positions for the rest of the season. So we've got goalkeepers first up, like I said, for game week 36. Top 2 being Flecken in Sales, both playing promoted teams, and Edison, who's playing the other promoted team against Southampton. Although, I'd say it's a bit questionable who's going to start in goal for Man City. Outside of that, you've got Leno, Raya. Interestingly, Raya's playing Liverpool, and he's still one of the top goalkeepers for expected points. And then you've got Jordan Pickford against Fulham as well. I think what this is saying, though, certainly in terms of goalkeepers, if you're looking to buy one, this week at least, is definitely target the promoted teams. And I would probably rule Edison out just with fitness concerns, Ortega starting, and also you want a goalkeeper in my mind that makes saves and can keep clean sheets. And historically, at least, the Man City goalkeepers, whoever plays in goal, doesn't really get those saves. And then we've got a view of, goalkeepers for the next 3 game weeks. So the final 3 game weeks of the season. And the top goalkeeper for expected points, as it stands, is David Raya. Then we've got Flecken in 2nd place, Pickford in 3rd, Alisson in 4th, Sells in 5th, and Edison in 6th. And I would say, if you're looking to buy a goalkeeper in FPL right now, and there's 3 game weeks left of the season, you're going to be wanting to do so thinking of all of those 3 game weeks, right? I would not make a transfer in the game right now with just 1 game week in mind. So that gives you a view of goalkeepers' expected points for the rest of the season. Okay, moving on to defenders then. And, you'll see a theme in terms of, the top goalkeepers will somewhat follow a trend in terms of the teams they play for as the defenders, because it's kind of based around Fantasy Football Hub's rating of their likelihood to keep a clean sheet, right? The top defender at the moment is Guardiola. So he's playing Southampton away. And I've got a feeling, we saw it a little bit in the Man City game against Wolves, that he's going to start playing left back now and take up those more attacking positions, which I think probably makes him the best defender in the game right now. And I think Man City, 3 Premier League clean sheets on the bounce they've got now, or 2? Although, what I will say is they may have kept clean sheets, but they haven't looked amazing defensively. You know, Wolves had their chances in that game, and I think could have quite easily have scored. So, while I'm saying Man City, Guardiola looks like the best defender, I'm not saying Man City are the best defence in the league. In terms of other defenders, we've got Milenkovic, Nico Williams and Murillo of Nottingham Forest. I always say this, but I think Milenkovic is the best Nottingham Forest defender. That hasn't changed. It's going up in price now, 5.2 million. But I just think he offers more attacking threat than any of the others, just with his set-piece threat. They're obviously playing promoted team. Trent, despite playing Arsenal, still on 4.4, the 3rd best defender for expected points. And Sessegnon, he's still up there, still getting minutes for Fulham, and he actually had the ball in the back of the net in game week 35. It was just a case that he handballed it when he brought it down. Doesn't have, who's he got there? Everton at home. It's not too bad of a fixture for him either. So, those are your top defenders, top 6 defenders for game week 36. And then we've got a view of, the top defenders for the final 3 game weeks of the season. So, the rest of the season. Trent is top, very closely followed by Guardiola. Then it's Saliba, Kivior. I think the Arsenal clean sheet odds and the Liverpool clean sheet odds are still deemed pretty high. Although at the time of recording this video, you could probably tell I'm having to record this during the Liverpool-Chelsea game. At the time that I'm recording this video, Liverpool are currently 1-0 down to Chelsea, which I'm not trying to draw too many conclusions from it, but considering the fact that, they got the league title wrapped up, what realistically do they have to play for? You can see why the algorithms are factoring that in, but they probably don't factor in the kind of mentality behind the run of the end of the season. So I do think Liverpool are decent, and obviously you can pick their defenders, but just bear in mind kind of the situation around them at the moment and that they don't really have anything left to play for. And then finally, yeah, well, what we just saw there was a list of expensive defenders and the main premium defenders. You can't just fill your team with premium defenders, right? So I thought it'd be useful to look at the top cheap defenders for the next 3 game weeks. So players that you might want to, if you've got limited budget to buy some, you might want to be looking at these players. So Kivior still up there, obviously Arsenal defence. He was amongst the top defenders anyway. Dean Howson is up there, obviously scored his goal against Arsenal, although the fixtures are not amazing for Bournemouth. I do think he really does carry quite a bit of goal threat with him. Collins of Brentford, Chalobah of Chelsea, he's been really, really good for Chelsea since he returned from Crystal Palace. And I think he's gone a little bit unsung by the wider football community. It's just how well he's played for Chelsea since he's come back from that loan. Jake O'Brien of Everton, quite popular, I think, for managers that I don't think many free hit in Game Week 35, but managers that wild-carded, or I think some did free hit. I think Andy Martin on Twitter free hit. And then Romero as well from Spurs, but I don't think I can hit myself a Spurs defender. Okay then, looking at midfielders, and again, we've got the top midfielders for Game Week 36 in isolation. Leading the list, despite playing Arsenal and currently blanking against Chelsea at the time I'm recording this video, that might change by the end though, is Salah, followed by Mbeumo, who's off the back of, an assist against Man United in 4-3 win. They scored 4 goals against Man United and they're about to play Ipswich away from home. De Bruyne's up there, playing Southampton away. Luis Diaz, who, yes, if he gets the minutes, he's got a good chance, I think, of some returns, but will he get the minutes? I'm just a little bit worried now in general about Liverpool's, those attacking players' minutes going into the end of the season. So, for example, he hasn't started against Chelsea. So that makes me doubt his minutes, I think, going for the rest of the season. I just don't think you can pick him. And to be honest, if I had him, I'd be a little bit worried about owning him. Looking at that Arsenal at home fixture, for example, it's a tough fixture in itself, and you don't know if he's going to play. Just probably wouldn't go there, to be honest. Harvey Barnes, who's still in that Newcastle team. What was quite telling is that Gordon came on, but he was subbed on for Murphy against Brighton. So maybe that suggests that Harvey Barnes is kind of the favourite of the two between him and Murphy now. And then Cole Palmer, whose form has just dropped off a cliff this season, hasn't it? He's been... I don't know what's happened to him. I think it must be a confidence thing. And I do think it will come back. But maybe he needs a pre-season, a little bit of a break and a pre-season behind him to refine that form. I don't know about you. I can see why the algorithms are still favouring him because he is Cole Palmer. He's still done really well this season, even though he's barely done anything since January. Just don't think his confidence is quite there at the moment. And then in terms of midfielders for the final 3 game weeks, well, we got Salah as number 1, and Mbeumo as number 2, De Bruyne at 3, Diaz at 4, Palmer at 5, and Martinelli at number 6. And then similar to what we did with the defenders, you can't just pad out your team with, the premium midfielders. You're going to have to pick some cheap ones as well. So Martinelli comes out on top, considering he was on the list of those full midfielders. And you got Semenyo, Harvey Barnes. Interesting, Fantasy Football Hub have got Dango here, but I would probably say Kluivert comes in ahead of Dango, given he's on penalties and his minutes are probably a bit better. Ismail Sarring, a nice differential that I quite like the look of. And he's had good minutes in recent games for Brentford. Did well against Man United. I think Sharda could be a nice differential for your team. Only 5.1 million. He's got a promoted team next. Then he's got Fulham and then he's got Wolves. I say there's 3 pretty good fixtures for Brentford. Yeah, Sharda. If that's how, I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce his name. Sharda could be pretty nice differential for you. On to the forwards. Top forward for Game Week 36, as it stands, is Erling Haaland. And of course, the big question is, will he actually play? I think if he does start, he is the best forward in the game this week, but that's obviously the question. One thing I would say, Pep Guardiola is usually, you can diss him for, the amount of rotation he puts his team through. But one thing you can say about Pep is that he's usually pretty honest in press conferences. So if Haaland is likely to start, Pep might let on that he is going to play. And yeah, if he is against Southampton at home, I think that could be a really nice option. And also, just, I said about Liverpool, not necessarily on the beach, but their season's wrapped up. And even if Salah is up for it and feeling on form, it's the rest of the team that need to help him score those goals as well. And I just think if you're chasing an FPL, and we have a pretty surefire view on whether Haaland will start against Southampton, I do think there's a case to potentially get rid of Salah and pick up Haaland. In second place, we've got Isak, Cunha in third, Chris Wood, Wissa and Marmoush round out your top forwards for 36. And then for the rest of the game, till the end of the season, we've got Haaland, Isak, Cunha, Wissa, Marmoush and Watkins. Those are your top forwards for the next 3. One thing I would say is we are expecting some news on whether Villa and Spurs double in Game Week 36. At the time of recording this video, Nothing's been confirmed on that yet. So what we've got here is a list of expected points, defenders, midfielders, goalkeepers, etc. Assuming that it is just a single game week. I'm pretty sure, if I remember rightly, Spurs have put in the request because the Premier League game with Villa is very close to the Europa League final. Villa are not too happy about it, but the Premier League is still considering the request. So yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens on that one. But of course, if Aston Villa do have, well, Villa and Spurs have a double game week, then that is something to bear in mind. I know I haven't talked about it yet, but I do think it's probably not going to happen. That's my gut feel. And to be honest, if Villa and Spurs did have a double game week, would you actually pick any Spurs assets at all? I don't think I would. I think it's Villa that you want to target. You go for maybe their defenders, like some Morgan Rogers. And obviously, Ollie Watkins becomes a good option in that scenario as well. The reason I brought it up is because I think Ollie Watkins is the first Aston Villa player I've seen amongst the top expected points. So yeah, those are all your positions for this week and the rest of the season. All right, the final question then is, well, who is the best captain? And looking at the Fantasy Football Hub algorithm for expected points and the FPL review algorithm for expected points, it's given a bit of a mixed bag of answers, isn't it? So according to Fantasy Football Hub, again, this is assuming that he starts, Haaland is top. And I would say, if you can tell me Haaland's going to start, I think he's the best captain. They've got Salah in second place, who Arsenal at home is a tough fixture, but both teams, you know, well, Liverpool won the league, Arsenal prioritising the Champions League. What could happen in that game, I'm not too sure. You've got Mbumo for FPL review, who's top. He's obviously got Ipswich, newly promoted team. It's kind of target the promoted teams really at the moment, isn't it, in FPL? Cunha's got Brighton. Chris Wood, who's got Leicester. Isak's up there as well in terms of Fantasy Football Hub. Then FPL review, the order goes Mbumo, Wood, Salah, Fernandes, Marmoush. The thing for me, right, is these... Oh, man. There's such a split, isn't there, on captaincy? Similar to what we've seen for Game Week 35. It's quite nice, isn't it? I think with the way the fixtures are played out, there's not much excitement in terms of fixtures for players that you can buy, but I think there is a little bit of excitement around who you can captain each week. And I always think this, but you know, the weeks where it's obvious to go for someone like Salah or Haaland, those are the weeks where you should probably just go with the crowd. But there are points in the season where the best captain is not so set in stone. And these 2 weeks are two of those. You know, Game Week 35, we still don't know yet who was the best captain. It certainly, at the time of recording this video, probably wasn't Mo Salah, although we're just checking the score again to see if he scored. No, Chelsea now 2-0 up. Yeah, it's a mixed one. So I guess all I can say really is that's the data I can show you. Let me know in the comments who you think the best captain is. All right, finally then, we've got the clean sheet odds. Now, I'd probably take the Man City ones here according to Draft Hand with a little bit of a pinch of salt. 82% chance of keeping a clean sheet is probably a little bit high by my estimate. In fact, across the board, these might be a little bit inflated. But I'd still use it as a rough guide in terms of the best teams to target from a defensive point of view. Like I do think of all of the teams this week, I'd probably say Man City are the best for clean sheets. Brentford, probably second best player in Ipswich. And Forest, probably third best. Maybe swap those two. Forest is probably more likely to keep a clean sheet than Brentford. Then you've got Fulham against Everton, who I think have good odds. Brighton, maybe. You can see the rest of the odds there. I won't go through them in detail. But if you want an idea of the kind of defences to... Maybe if you've got a decision between two defenders and you're working out who to start and bench, maybe this clean sheet odds table can help you. All right, well, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed that and found it useful. If you did, please leave me a like rating. A like rating for the return of the Ultimate Guide video series. Like I said, let me know in the comments who you think your captain's going to be in Game Week 36. And I'd be interested to know what your thoughts are on Erling Haaland as well. Do you think he's going to play? I don't know. I literally have no idea at this stage. So that's why I mentioned him, kept a little bit loose about my opinion. I guess we'll see how we go. Yeah, I think I already asked you to like the video if you enjoyed it, didn't I? The only other thing, if you're new around here, haven't come across my channel before, I think about 75% of people that have been watching me recently aren't subscribed to the Golden Goal channel. If you haven't subscribed, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit subscribe, which should be just somewhere around here on your screen. And yeah, that just leaves me to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in my next video.